Here we are. We are live, episode number 26. Literally just jumped off episode number 25 because I was doing a bit of a double header, being a bit of a UFC double header today with Jason Gaynard before this call, Chris. Chris, I met through Jason, obviously MMT, and he shared a really powerful workshop around the power of storytelling, conversations, and just building such incredible brands and being part of that conversation and workshops and brands. And now he's literally kind of pivoted into, I was always inspired by his family life. He's got 5 beautiful kids and a beautiful wife. And now he's literally transitioned into helping families create this incredible intentional brand and culture. So welcome aboard, man. I can't wait to have this chat for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, stoked to be here. I love Jason, love you, love the fact we met. So, man, any friends of yours or friends of mine, and I'm stoked to be here today.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. So, Campfire Effect, which just give us a quick brief at sort of what you were doing over at Campfire Effect, and then the transition into this new chapter and you and your wife and your family's life with FamilyBrand.
Yeah, happy to. So, with Campfire, we believe that as an entrepreneur, your story and your message are the most powerful things that you have to really influence what we call your mission, your message, and your movement to create the kind of income and impact you're capable of and really differentiate yourself. And yet we work with really purpose-driven, mission-focused, heart-centered entrepreneurs all the time who feel a bit frustrated because they know that they're really amazing at what they do. But when they compare that with how they talk about it, they always feel like there's a gap there. It's like, man, we just can't figure out how to talk about what we do in as powerful and clear, succinct ways what we actually do. And so we created the methodology that really closes that gap, and it helps entrepreneurs just get really clear on like what it is they really feel called to do and what it is they really feel called to say, and then give them language for that to be super intentional.
Oh, what's going on? There you go.
Are we glitching here?
Yeah, sorry. I was like the internet between New Zealand and North America takes a while to go back. I loved in that workshop that you did in regards to crafting that message was super powerful. When was the time that you kind of woke up and go, right, FamilyBrand, let's start this thing?
Yeah, so for me, it was like, so a bit of my backstory. I don't even know if you know this, Steve, but so I'm the youngest of 6 children, and both of my brothers have passed away from addiction. My oldest nephew has passed away from addiction. I currently have a sister serving a prison sentence for addiction. And so like I grew up in this family where like addiction and like, mental health and depression, anxiety, just like, just decimated our family. And I saw that growing up. And so I always had this kind of like heaviness around why has our family struggled so much? And so I went on a mission for my church when I was 19 years old and left home and was away from home for the first time. And I was on this mission, and I asked a leader, why has our family struggled so much? It was like the heaviness of that was really starting to kind of weigh on me. And I was just confused. And he said, I think what might have happened in your family is that something happened along the way where the Smith name, like your last name, kind of lost some of its meaning. And he said, and someday I think someone's going to come along and like take a stand again for the Smith name and like reestablish what it means to be a Smith and like rechart the course, if you will. Mm. And so he said that to me at 19, and I knew, like, I didn't say anything to him because I was just 19 years old, but there's just something in me that gave me this sense of like, I'm going to do that. So I didn't tell anyone about that for over probably a decade. Didn't even tell my wife about it. And then my wife and I, 10 years ago, we were separated, going to get divorced. I was at the lowest place in my life. Felt like a failure as a husband, as a father, as an entrepreneur. I had failing businesses. I owed people money. And just lost my complete compass, like in everything. And really had kind of given up hope, like got to a place of hopelessness. And because of the belief of my wife and a really amazing marriage counselor and just some amazing circumstances that happened, we made the conscious decision to like really fight for our marriage and like take a stand for our family. So we do all this, right? And so then part of that trajectory of my life of really finally taking a stand for me was I started my own business. I finally started a business that like I really felt called to do, which is the Campfire Effect. Mm-hmm. And so a couple years into the Campfire Effect, I'm seeing this transformation that we're creating for our clients. like entrepreneurs that have been in business for years that are like coming to us and saying, wow, like I'm more clear than I've ever been on what I really stand for. And my company, we're more clear on what we've ever been. And I started seeing this transformational like impact of being intentional around all this. And I have this thought, like, we should take our family through the Campfire effect. Like, I've taken a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses through it. I've never taken a family through it. Yeah. So I just told my wife one night, I come home, like, and we go on, it was date night. And I was like, hey, we should take our family through the Campfire effect. And at first my wife's like, okay, like, we're not a business, but sure. Like, you always come up with crazy ideas. Like, I'll give it a shot. I see the difference you're making for these entrepreneurs. And so we did it. And when we went through the process, at first it was just kind of like a fun thing to do with our family. But when we went through the process and really defined like what we stand for as a family and what we want to be known for and what does it mean to be a Smith, I like stepped back and I was like, whoa, we just like branded our family. Like, we just created a family brand. And it kind of like that scene at 19 years old flashed back, and it was like come full circle of like, wow, this is what he was talking about. Like, we could help a lot of other families do that same thing of like, help them define what they stand for as a family and what they want to be known for. And what does it mean to be a, insert your last name. And then I just started realizing in the world of entrepreneurship, especially, like, it's easier actually for us as entrepreneurs to be more intentional about the brand and the culture of our businesses than our very own homes and families. Mm. And so, yeah, that kind of family brand was born in that moment. And I went and bought the domain FamilyBrand.com, which was, an awesome domain. And I had to negotiate and pay a little bit for it. But like, and then we just kind of over the years have thought about it and kind of helped a few families. And then I would say the two turning points for us was last August. One of my clients kind of said, like, you've got to come out and put on a family brand workshop. Like, I've heard about it. I want it for me and my family. So she organized 20 families in San Diego, and my wife and I went out and did a 1-day family brand workshop. And just in the 1-day workshop, we walked them through kind of our framework, and it like really made a profound difference for some of these families in just a 1-day workshop. And, months later, they're still reaching out to us saying how much it's impacted their family and like, why are you guys not sharing this with the world? And then when the coronavirus hit and the pandemic, I just, my wife and I just like, man, the world needs strong families right now, and families need help right now. And so that was kind of the genesis of like, let's launch Family Brand. And so Family Brand really is the Campfire effect for families, but it's, we believe that every family should have the right to define what their family stands for. And every family should have the right to declare what it is their family is going to be known for, and really have an opportunity to plant their family's flag and be like, this is what it means to be in this family. And like, this is who we are. And so, yeah, man, we're going for it.
FamilyBrand.com. It's what a domain to get. And then I kind of thought about when I first saw it, I was like, Family Brand. Oh, geez, is this like the whole branding of, like, I'm sure you probably get a few people going, oh, geez, that's a bit powerful. But then obviously then there's the other side, totally. Like the brand of a family name has been around for thousands of years. Like monarchies and that sort of stuff, is that name goes back thousands of years, and they were known for. And if you look at tribes in Fiji, and there's names in Fiji that goes back, is like, they're farmers. They are the best farmers in Fiji. That's their brand, and people lean into that. So it's nothing new, is it? It's just putting a framework around helping people that maybe haven't been into those cultures and seeing how tribes really operate. So
yeah, or maybe you were part of that family that really at one time that name really stood for something, but then like some things happened in generations, and like the family can completely get disconnected from its roots, or maybe a family's never really planted their flag. And so it's like, but that's another interesting thing, that part of the family brand framework. So we haven't launched our signature course yet, but when we do, it's made up of 3 components: culture, language, and experiences. And then each of those, have their own processes within them. But one of the things that we take a family through in culture is we call it roots. And we help a family get reconnected back to their ancestors and their heritage and where they come from. And we encourage them to do some family history, actually research, because there's this growing body of research out there that says that one of the greatest indicators of a child's future identity and well-being is how much they know about their ancestors and where they come from.
Yeah, wow.
And most families have gotten completely disconnected from like their roots, because if you look back in your genealogy and your roots and generations back, you're going to find stories of people that like made amazing sacrifices and took risks and did amazing things. And you read those stories and you're like, whoa, like that's part of my like lineage. Like that blood flows through my veins. That's who I am.
Well, it's one of the experiences I actually lent into during the, obviously I've had a lot more time on my hands after travel and events have literally been, the tap's been turned off. I literally had this conversation with Jason. So it's given me a lot of time to be grateful for solitude and lean into some experiences and learning. And one of them was my mother always went on and down the old path of like, where's her great parents all the way back to Italy. And I was never interested, and literally like woke up and Ancestry came back, and it was like a free deal because aviation and military is very much part of my dad's side. And I was just like, oh, I'll click some buttons, and it was fascinating. I literally, time stopped, and to go back like 3, 4, 5 generations, and it's so easy to do now with Ancestry.com and these other things, versus mum spent years trying to rustle and research and stuff. And to give that context, to go back even 2 or 3 generations to see what trade they were back in 50 years, there was like 5 trades. You're a blacksmith.
Totally.
To go back there and go, some of that programming has been dropped down the heritage line. So I can resonate with that deep thought around like going back to your roots. And I actually told my partner Sarah to go back and do it as well, and she goes back to Ireland. And so love that. So what are some good examples? Like, I love you've got your tiles behind you. Is that part of FamilyBrand? And what are some examples of the Smith? What were the outcomes of doing that campfire effect for the Smith family?
Yeah. So these tiles are three of a bunch of tiles of what we call our family culture wall. So what's really cool is, when we developed our family big idea of impact, which I'll share with you, and our family vision and our family values, my wife just went into Canva, which is a little software where you can design PowerPoint, and she just printed them out on paper and put them up on our wall, because we just felt like it was important to like have them up in our home as a reminder and say them every morning at breakfast. And that's some of that we teach in the course of like different ways that you can implement this into your daily living, so that they don't just become words on a wall, so that they don't just become a one-time exercise, right? They actually make it into the fabric of your life and your identity. And so what was really serendipitous is I had recently started working with a new client of mine and their name's Gaping Void, and they're amazing. And they design culture for some of the top companies in the world. And then they go and memorialize that culture into this really creative kind of funky art that you see behind me. And it's all one of a kind, custom, never going to be two pieces alike. And then they go into a company's headquarters and they take an entire wall and create a culture wall. Wow. And they put these tiles up, and these tiles are all their mission, vision, values, sayings that are important to them. It's just this constant reminder. So I was taking Gaping Void through the Campfire effect, and I immediately was like, I want one of those for my home. And so I think, far as I know, we're the first or second family that has ever had a family brand culture wall. And they trademarked the word culture wall, like Gaping Void. They're amazing. And so like, for us, it was this intentionality of like, we've created these sayings, and then, we have them up in our home. And so our big idea of impact, which in the business world might be called your mission statement, is we believe you can be who you want to be.
We believe, you're right.
And that might sound like to some people, oh yeah, like, okay, cool. But to us, like that has a real deep meaning and purpose, because when we say you can be who you want to be, there's no room in that for like what other people think you should be, or what other people think you're supposed to be. And I think we live in a society, in a world today, where there's a lot of people willing to tell you what you should be and what you're supposed to be. And it's our intention, and we're not perfect at it. It's our intention in our home to create space for every member of the family, myself included, my wife, our kids, that every member in the family can be who they want to be, and that they'll be loved, accepted, and seen for that.
It's and that same statement, as you said, it could be a mission statement, is so true to the business world as well. It's like being able to give people or organizations to be who they want to be, versus being comparison or judged and
totally
feel like they have to go. Especially in the last eight weeks, I feel that there's been so much noise about pivot, do this, should do that. Is like, you know what? And I got caught in that in the first week. I was like, how are we going to pivot this business? How are we going to do this? And literally was going like that. First, going back to your statement, just be who I want to be. Versus super powerful statement there for your family and businesses. So
totally. And I feel like that's a lot of the work that we've always done in the Campfire effect. Like the Campfire effect, we come into these businesses and they're sharing a message that they think they should share. They're doing business in the way they think they're supposed to. And we just give them this freedom that's almost like mind blowing to them, but it's really just simple. We just give them freedom to be like, well, what do you really want to do? Like, what do you feel called? So we talk a lot about calling. Like, what do you feel called to do? What do you feel called to say? Who do you feel called to work with? Because you don't have to work with people you don't, So it's like, and then one of my favorite quotes is by Thor's mom, actually, in the movie Avengers Endgame. She tells him, she says, "Son, everyone fails at who they're supposed to be." And the first time I heard that line, I was like, whoa. Like, everyone fails at who they're supposed to be. Because it's not possible to succeed at who you're supposed to be. It's only possible to succeed at being who you really are. But can we create space in homes, and can we create cultures in homes where every individual in that home is given that space to find out who they are, fall in love with that person, and then go create their life from that place? And so really the mission, the scheme of Family Brands, Steve, if you it's a good scheme, but if you're like, hey, what's this really all about? It's like, if the only thing Family Brand accomplishes is in some way it helps every individual in that family love who they are, love themselves, and it flips on the creator switch, or the creation switch, we call it, where like every individual in that family also realizes, like, I can create anything I want. Like, I can be anything I want. So for us, that's kind of all wrapped up, and we believe you can be who you want to be. And I want for those of you listening who might want to do this with your families, I think that's so much more powerful than saying our mission is saying we believe. Now, I'm a fanatic with language because of my background in the Campfire effect and story and words. But to me, even in companies, we've encouraged a lot of our clients through Campfire effect to have a mission that's not, don't say our mission is, but we believe, right? So, and then our vision is, family vision is, we are committed to elevate and inspire. And so a really great place to think about your big idea or your mission is, what do we want? What do we stand for? So that's a really great question to ask yourself. What do we stand for more than anything as a family? And that can shape itself into a form of a we believe statement. And then the vision question is, what do we want to be known for? Like, if someday someone were to speak about the Smith family, what do we want to be known for? And what we came up with was we want to be known for that we elevate and inspire other people. Another cool question to ask your family around that is what makes our family unique? Because just like there's things that make a business unique, there's things that make a family unique. Like, what makes us unique? And again, it's intentional that we don't say our vision is as a family. We say we are committed to. Yeah. And that's what we encourage the clients that go through Family Brand is like declare what you're committed to as part of the vision of who you're becoming. So you're kind of, the big idea and the mission is, who are we now? Vision is, who are we becoming?
I love the questions, and as you always lean into, is just asking better questions, asking more questions, and how you can use all these. Yes, we're very focused today on Family Brand and creating better families and more cohesive, more collaboration around families. That's what we're kind of talking about here. But you can literally pick up this language, which you already have done with the Campfire, and that's where it started. Is so anyone on this call listening from a family point of view, literally just take this up and plonk it into your business as well. But we're going to keep focusing on the family side, because, as you said, intentionally, my two kids, Lola and Luca, go to their school, and their school has values, and it's ingrained into them, their Orca values. And even we try and bring those values into our household. So Orca stand, O for ownership, R for respect, C for collaboration, and A for achievement. And I'm like, literally everywhere is getting done, business, community, school, but it's not getting done at home. Yet home is where you spend most of your time.
Totally.
So, mic drop moment there. So, and we literally started playing around with it a couple of weeks ago. It's like, our last name is Pirie, P-I-R-I-E. It's just like, how do we take the learning of the Orca values and just start simple and go P is for pride, totally. And I is for, but to be able to have a true framework about, and our friends Jim Shields from 18 Summers is like the family boardroom, being able to sit down, but then bringing in the Family Brand framework to be able to, because sometimes it's like, where do you even start? About this. So to have a framework and the questions to ask, because some of us can't ask good questions. It's foreign for us to to ask good questions. So just absolutely love. So what's some examples of what you've come out of taking families through this process already? What are those light bulb moments, or those aha moments that people walk away and go, wow? What are some examples that are coming out, man?
Yeah, I think like what's interesting is so far we did a beta group with a handful of families, all of them entrepreneurs, all of them own businesses, and all of them in their own right, like very, very respected in the business world and very impactful businesses. And the light bulb moment for all of them was like, I don't bring the same level of intentionality into my own home and my own family as I do in my own business. Like every one of those businesses had stated mission statements, vision statements, values, like real leadership and development focuses in their businesses, like they as the owners, and weren't like, and one of the guys in the beta group, he's like, I feel like my family gets what's left of us, not the best of us. Mm. And so it's just kind of this, like that awareness of like, wow, like we really, like my wife and I were at a Dave Ramsey conference in San Diego, Entre Leadership, last year. And this was a pivotal kind of turning point. We were already like kind of leaning into FamilyBrand. And then his closing remarks from stage, and it was an amazing summit, amazing speakers, right? Like, you know, Marcus Buckingham and Peyton Manning and like Simon Sinek and all these like amazing speakers. So it was an amazing conference. Sarah Blakely, Jesse Itzler. And so then, you know, at the end, his closing remarks, he's like, you know, and the backbone of this country, he's talking about the United States. He's like, the backbone of this country, the backbone of this economy is small business. But you've probably heard the same thing, like regardless of what country you're in, we've all heard at one point in time, the backbone of the country. And we've all always heard that, my wife and I, but it's never occurred to us until that moment where we sit there and we look at each other and we're like, no, it's not small business, it's family. Mm. Like the backbone of a country isn't business. The backbone of a country is families, because every small business is a family. And the stronger the family, the stronger the individual, the stronger the individual, the stronger the entrepreneur, the stronger the entrepreneur, the stronger the community. I mean, it's just like, but we've even kind of like, and so I think that's another aha moment for a lot of these entrepreneurs that have been in this. It's like, wow, like just, this really is our most important work. So why are we not, you know, more intentional? And it's, again, it's like, it's not that we don't have it, but here's the other thing I've realized too, Steve. It's not that we don't have a desire. I've not met one entrepreneur that has a family that doesn't have a desire to be as intentional or more in their family and their business, myself included, but without a framework, and it's like, when you look at the amount of content that's out there right now on how to market your business, how to start your business, how to grow your business, how to scale your business, like endless amounts. You look at the same amount of content that's out there for like how to do those same things for a family. Yeah. It's just not like talked about a lot. And so, yeah, I mean, and look, we're not out sharing FamilyBrand from like because we're some perfected body of work as a family. We struggle as much as any family, right? We've done some things that have made a difference for us, and it keeps us in the conversation. I think another kind of light bulb aha moment is just that this idea of like, as entrepreneurs and as business owners, we really bring ourselves to the world of business and entrepreneurship like a creation. Like we can create any possibility. But then we don't operate with that same creation mindset around our family. It's kind of like not anything and everything is possible out there in the business world. But with our families, there's certain limitations and certain things we have to work around, and kids' schools. And it's just like, no, like anything's possible still in the family. You can live anywhere you want. You can do life on your terms. You can do school the way you want. And so it's like, it's that same kind of aha concept of around like, yeah, like anything's like this creation mentality that we bring into business. Same thing.
I like that. And Jason on the last call talked about, he refers to himself as an artist versus an entrepreneur. And I think there's a massive correlation between why MMT and what he has created with community and the relationships that he's fostered is seen as an artist. He kind of brings some of that artistry into the relationships in the community that is created with his entrepreneurial hat on. Same with families. It's like creation and artistry. And I know artistry, everyone just thinks, okay, you got to paint and color, but art comes in so many forms, whether it's making pizzas for Jason and the best sourdough on the planet, or farming and creating things is a type of artistry. So being able to do that, and it refers back onto your tiles that are behind you, super powerful to be able to take that mindset and go across both family, entrepreneur, all lines. So that's amazing. So what are some quick take homes for families to start the process? Because I think there's a lot of, and I had a conversation around health and wealth the other day. The same sort of thing is like health for a lot of people is seen as an obstacle versus an opportunity. And same thing with, I think, family values and doing this deep work. A lot of it is like put it in the too hard basket and the obstacle basket versus the opportunity. So what are some small little steps that people can see this type of work? And there's some other great people out there like Jim Shields and John Vroman from
Totally.
There is information out there and frameworks to go through, but how do you shift that mindset to go obstacle to opportunity?
Yeah. So one of the things that we just released actually is a free course. Like we're not charging anything for it, and it's meant to be a very simple, digestible course that has a workbook on it. Just start this process, because it can seem pretty heavy and overwhelming of like, oh, culture, roots, ancestry, mission, vision, values. It's like, yeah, that we can get there, but there's also some like 10 steps that my wife and I have really identified that made the biggest difference for us in having like business and family fulfillment. Like we can have both. And so if you go to our website, FamilyBrand.com, and you just click free, literally like up at the top, and you can get access to this free course, and it comes with a downloadable workbook. And it's just simple, like, but there's really powerful, some of the most powerful lessons that we had to learn the hard way that were in there. The other thing is we have a free Facebook group, Family Brand. If you go on Facebook and you type Family Brand Community, I think you just joined it the other day, Steve. Like we have really great resources in there. But so aside from just some really practical resources, a really great question to just start to consider as a family is like there's two really that I would have every family start with. It's like, and these don't have to be heavy questions in the sense of you don't have to figure it out right now, but just questions to like be in a conversation with as a family is like, hey, what do we stand for as a family? Like when we look at the, you know, the period last name, like what do we stand for? So that's one question. Like, what do we stand for today? And then and again, these are the same questions we ask in Campfire Fact. And another great question to start asking yourself right now is like, what do we want to be known for as a family? And then realizing that you get to choose that. Like no one else is like deciding that for you. You can let people decide it for you, but you really can. You can decide what your family stands for today. And then you can decide what it is your family is going to be known for. And then another thing that's really cool. So Family Brand, the framework is culture, language, and experiences. And another way we refer to it is, create, right? The kind of culture that you want to have. Craft the kind of culture you want to have, commit to it with your mission, vision, values, and then, create through experiences. One of the exercises we have a family do in the experiences, we call it the connection blueprint. Because the whole thing about Family Brand is to have families be more connected. And so every family has a connection blueprint. They don't know that they have one a lot of times. I mean, what I mean by the connection blueprint is every family has things that just have their family work. Almost like a recipe. And the recipe for yours would be totally different than the recipe for mine. Like, for example, one of the things that might have your family work really well is like a weekly run. Like, hey, we just, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but when we go out and run every Saturday morning as a family, our family just works better. Whereas our family might fall apart on a weekly run, right? Because every family is different. That's been a big aha for us and for these families we've recently taken through is when they go to create their connection blueprint and they start identifying like, hey, when we do this activity, our family really works. When we do this, our family really works. When we do this, and then they look at this list and they're like, man, these are the things that have our family just work smoothly. So why don't we do it more often? Why don't we do more of them more often? Well, it's just because we've never identified them, written them down. Another cool way of looking at that is identify time in your family's history when your family just worked. Maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was a week ago, maybe it was 3 years ago, but like try to find a period of time in your family's life where it just hummed and things just worked. People got along better than they've ever, and then stop and go, what was at play? What were the ingredients that made that recipe up? And then also sometimes what wasn't at play. So those are three things. What do we stand for? What do we want to be known for? And then what are some things that just have our family work and be more connected that we could just do more often? If it has our family work, why would we not do it more often?
Yeah, man, totally. And I love the simple framework. And probably to finish things off, like, man, I'd love to talk for hours. I don't know why I started these 30-minute conversations. Like, it's to squeeze 30 minutes isn't tight, but hey, at least it it's a catalyst to get things and learn more and dive into Family Brand, is co-families, right? Co-parenting, and obviously I'm in that framework. So the two questions to finish off with is like co-parenting, like how can you bring this conversation to the table and how might it work? And then also, what was the last question? Keeping the excitement to get all stakeholders. We can use this as business terms. Stakeholders is in the family unit, to get them excited to dive into the process. And I know Jim and the boardroom kind of is a good framework around that. But so one, co-parenting, different houses, and then second, how do you get all stakeholders excited about it?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked both those questions. We get asked that a lot. And so the co-parenting, like co-families, is like, you see, you have like, some people might look at that and be like, well, it's not going to work for us. It's too late. We're a blended family. We're co-parenting. We're co-families. It's like, no, it's like, or we'll sometimes have families like, well, my children are grown. I waited too long. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. It's never too late. So I actually think in the idea of a co-family, you actually have an opportunity to kind of create a 1 + 1 = 3. It's like, look, if we take the best of like this side of the family and what we stand for and what we're known for and our heritage and our ancestors and what they represent, and we take the best of this side of the family, it's like we can still create this 1 + 1 = 3 and like create something really amazing. And the way you do that, to answer your second question, is how you get people excited is like that quote, those who help plan the battle don't battle the plan. Mm-hmm. Like our experience has been, and the experience of the families that we've taken through this process has been, if you let your children be involved in the shaping of that we believe statement and the shaping of that we are committed to and the shaping of the values, like they'll have a say in it and they'll have a voice in it and they'll contribute to it. And it's like really powerful. So the way that I think you keep them excited is just age appropriate, right? You would let them be as involved in the process as possible. Or if you have like little kids, right? Like as part of the family brand process and creating your mission and your vision, your values, you get like some big white paper and some paintbrushes or some markers and let them like visually express it. Let them like really feel like they have a say in it, or let them come up with like a logo or a design that represents it. But like, yeah, our experience has been that like we tried at one time, like we'll come up with it and then just share it with them. And then we tried another experience where it's like, we let them shape it. We kind of drove it and guided it, and they were all about it. So yeah, you totally have an opportunity to do this as a co-family and like involve your kids in the process.
I love that 1 + 1 = 3. And it's definitely, 12 years of marriage, and there's some incredible values that have come through that, and the rules and the values on that house and that unit, and then ours, and then also Sarah's, is like being able to fuse that together. We all talk about collective wisdom is super powerful, and then the co-creation as well is that obviously being involved in creating a youth travel brand with 25,000 18-year-olds over 10 years is that. And doing the survey is like the last thing young people want is a prescription. Yeah. They want to be part of co-creation and having their voice at the table. And like we speak at universities, and it's you're exactly right. If you say we want your ideas and we want to learn about what you want, they'll learn. Away they go. So great points on that front. So I'll put in the links to Family Brand. If people want to dive in, get onto the free course. I'm actually just starting it at the moment, which is excited to start to go through this process. And what better time to do it, eh? Like COVID has literally been such a great catalyst. I think families are coming together, connecting more, having more Zoom calls, which is connection. So what better time to kind of dive in and do some deep work? There might be a few challenging moments to get over the hurdle, but the ROI, if we're using business language, is far more than what you could expect in a business, I think. So
totally, man. Yeah. And I just would offer my encouragement, like every family can do it. Like regardless of your family dynamics, your family situation, or where your families come from, you really can create like the family you want and define what it is you stand for. And it can be an amazing thing.
What's the champagne moment? We'll finish with a Jason Gaynard MMT question. What's the champagne moment in the next 12 months with you and Family Brand?
Yeah, I think it's really like, what's interesting is Campfire Effect is a high ticket kind of personalized.
Is that still going as Campfire? Or are you kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's actually been a little bit of the challenge and the fun of it is like Campfire Effect's actually growing more than it's ever grown and doing better than it's ever done. While and what's cool is they support each other because really, Family Brand is the Campfire Effect for families, and Campfire Effect is a family brand for it's like it's the same framework, same methodology, but Campfire Effect has really primarily been high end, more private one-on-one small group coaching, where Family Brand is meant to like reach the masses. And so I think 12 months from now would be that we have a super engaged community of hundreds or thousands of families that have planted their family's flag and they're deciding what it is their family stands for, and we're serving them in that community, whatever that looks like.
Fantastic, man. Well, again, thanks for your friendship, your support, and just moving the needle on what is a much needed topic to get families to band together. Because as you said, it's not business that is the backbone of countries right now. The only thing that's getting us through right now is actually families banding together and supporting each other, and neighbors banding together to support each other and communities. So time to keep leaning into the family brand and supporting families. So well done, bro, and thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Awesome, bro.